Let's change out a hopper window. You start by unlocking it, open it up, lift it, take out the glass. Okay, now we just have the frame. Remove any pieces that you can, like that, and up here. We'll use a grinder to cut through the sill. After you make your relief cuts with your grinder, you can pull the sections out. So our window is 30.5, which means we need to take off these pour marks. We'll start with a chisel. Now that we've done most of the chipping away, we'll clean it up a little bit with this on an angle, or we'll use our surfacing grinder depending on how spotless it needs to be. Now we're all ground down and cleaned up, so the RO is right for our hopper window. So after all the grinding and chipping, the window fits very nicely, but what's hidden on the top of the flange is not on the sides, so we have these unsightly flanges. So let me show you how I think I'm going to solve that. So we're going to cut the part of the flange that you see off with the multi-tool. Now we'll figure out a good place to put our Tapcons through, which is going to be here because there's a lot of beef and it doesn't hit this flange here. So we set a screwing pattern and drilled some 3/8 holes with a Forstner bit. Now we use a plug cutter bit to make our own plugs. These holes are where the Tapcons will go through into the concrete. Once your holes are hammer drilled for your Tapcons, add your silicone or whatever sealant of your choice. Send your Tapcons into all your holes. Make your plugs using a 3/8 plug cutter to go with what you drilled. Plastic's moody, so you need to press in as hard as you can. Start slow, speed up a little. Steady to this like that. And then what I've been doing is just taking a multi-tool and cutting it here so that the plug falls out. And there's your window fully installed. No unsightly flanges on the sides. We made our custom plugs for our Tapcon holes. They're not a perfect white match, but remember it's a basement hopper window, so I'm giving it a check plus. So to trim the inside, we're going to measure from our short point to short point, because in this case it's more reliable than our long points. And we have 28 and 13/16 in this case. We'll also measure our height, which in this case is 14 and 1/16 short point to short point. Use your measurements to make your extension jamb. In this case, instead of buying a 1x10 and ripping it at 7 3/4, I used a 1x8, and I'll do a double reveal, which means I'll have 2 extension jambs. So I have this extension jamb and then this extension jamb. That way it builds me out and I'll add my trim. What I'm doing is the 3/16 reveal rather than a traditional 1/4 inch, which doesn't sound like much of a difference, but it gives me more nailing on this extension jamb and then the following piece of trim. Finish installing your casing and congratulations, you've done a hopper window.